All right, so welcome everybody to New Patient Experience Part 1. The purpose of this class is to help you to have the ability to successfully onboard a new patient into your practice. So to get that patient from the first phone call to your office up until what we call the handoff on day one, which I'll explain to you later. So the process of the New Patient Experience Part 1 is working with understanding what a patient needs and then understanding what you need as a doctor or want as a doctor, and then also how to train your team effectively to be able to process new patients. So you know as the doctor that your team members are engaging with the patient exactly the way you want it to be. I cannot stress this enough. It is your practice. It will go the way that you want it. And you must be diligent about making sure that whatever way you want it to go, that's the way that it's going. So training of your team is extremely important. So we'll work through this quarter, this process. There are some assignments that you will have. You're going to create a application for care for patients and you're going to do some work on some scripting as well on how we communicate with patients throughout the quarter. And I'll lay all that out for you. And we did a little bit of that in the syllabus review. So business is a philosophy. It sounds like a strange thing, right? But it really is true. There are different views of business. And the philosophy of business that we're going to teach you is a philosophy that has been utilized over and over and over by thousands of offices throughout the United States and throughout the world. And this process, this philosophy, this G10 philosophy that you're learning is an incredibly strong and powerful tool to help you to grow a very vibrant and successful chiropractic office. So we need to review a few terms. So new patients and PVA. Well, what is PVA? PVA is patient visit average. You can see that second bullet point down there. NP equals new patients. PVA equals patient visit average. The length of time a patient stays under care. And that really is best determined over a number of years. You can look at PVA on a monthly basis, but it is a very variable statistic because it's a dynamic statistic. You're using two different statistics to get a patient visit average. So change in the number of new patients that you have that month or change in the number of existing visits that you've had that month are going to affect the PVA. So PVA is best looked at over a minimum of 3-month time period. And it is an incredibly slow number to change. But the more PVA that we add, the higher that patient visit average goes, makes a tremendous difference in the financial solvency of a practice. I mean, it is amazing the difference it can make. Just if we kept every other statistic the same, the number of new patients, the number of office visits, the number of conversions, we kept all of those things, the number of dollars we're collecting, we kept those all the same, and we just changed PVA by 5, you can find that it can be like $100,000 more in income for the year. So really, really important tool. And we talked about last quarter about the spinal workshop, and spinal workshop is the primary driver of a high PVA practice. We have a DVA, which is a dollar visit average, the amount of the office received per patient on average. Services are what we did and we billed for. So if we do anything other than an adjustment, then we would add those services on. If it's adjustment and an exam that day, then it's adjustment and exam. So that's a higher service. So services. And then collections. How much of that service money are we actually collecting? So that's how much the office receives. Services are how much the office bills. Collections are how much the office brings in. Those two numbers almost always will not be the same unless you're a cash practice. If you're a cash practice, then those numbers will be the same. So for a hybrid or a high insurance-based practice, the numbers can be quite different. For a hybrid cash and insurance practice, then we're going to find that there will be some variability in those numbers, just because of the insurance contracts means your reimbursement, you may have agreed to a lower reimbursement rate. So those are things to keep in mind. Really, in the ratio of services to collections, we should be 80 to 90%. So 80 to 90% of what we bill, we should be collecting. Office visits. How many people are we seeing? How many paid visits are we seeing in that day, that week, or that month? My encouragement to you is you should look weekly. Most doctors look every day, but at a minimum, you should look weekly at where you are. And then the case average is how much money on average, does each new patient bring into the practice. So you'll take your total amount of money that you collected for that month, and you'll divide by the number of new patients. It'll give you an idea of where your care plans are putting you in regard to finance. Okay, so this is an overview of the Sherman G10 new patient process. You can see in the left column we have new patient process day 1, and we're going to work up to the new patient exam this quarter. So new patient phone call, new patient welcome, new patient application for care, new patient examination, new patient x-rays if they're warranted, new patient exit. And then what do we do? After we've gathered all that data, what do? We have to create a care plan. We have to create financial understanding, financial outline, how they're going to pay, and then prepare your report of findings for the patient. That's all on day 1. Day 2, the patient comes back. We're going to go through the new patient welcome, the report, the specific results, the care plan recommendations, financial overview, adjustment, their schedule, and then their exit for the day. So between new patient process 1 and new patient process 2, and then new patient report 1 and new patient report 2, you're going to have a complete understanding of how to do these 2 days, which are the most important 2 days that you will have with patients in your practice, except for the anniversary report. That's another really important day, and you'll learn about what that is later. But these are the 2 events, or 2 days, I should say, that will make the greatest difference in people saying yes to your care. Now, our goal is by the end of day 1 to have 75% of that patient's decision to have care in your practice already made. By your procedures, your professionalism, your preciseness, the patient understands that, I don't really know about chiropractic that much, but I don't know, something about this place seemed really right, and I think I've made the right decision to be here. That's the best that we can hope for on day 1, right? So that's the process that we're going to be working on over this quarter and the next. So what does all of this have to do with paying off our debt? So each new patient that says yes to your care means income to your practice, strictly on the business side. So each new patient means more for your practice in regard to finance. So we said on the last slide that 75% of the patient's decision to start care is decided on day 1. So an impeccable day 1 is so incredibly important to building a practice and to paying off your debt. So a really strong day 1 builds the value of chiropractic care as non-emergent health care, and that increases the PVA, right? We're not emergency doctors. Now, some of you may have looked at that last slide and say, well, where's the adjustment on day 1? Well, in G10 land, we do not adjust on day 1. Now, look, I can tell you that there's absolutes, but there's really never an absolute in the universe. So one of the things that can happen is you may have a crisis patient. You may be at the end of your work week and you have a new patient who's in crisis. I am not telling you that you shouldn't care for those people and provide adjustments for those people. What I'm saying to you is that shouldn't be the rule, that everybody who walks through the door gets adjusted on day 1. Why? Well, one of the reasons why is it decreases the value of you gathering this information. So the information gathering is so important for you to understand how to care for that patient appropriately. And if we cheapen that by providing an adjustment, by providing an off-the-cuff report, and then providing adjustment for that patient, they have lessened value in what it is that you're going to do. So Dr. Doley will teach you about value stacking and value adding, and this is one of those value stacking and value adding points. We do an exam, we do a consultation, we do a history, we do x-rays, and then that data is then gone over thoroughly by the doctor, and then the second day the patient says, yes, I want that care, they get adjusted then. So I'm hoping that you'll keep your hearts and your minds open to that, and it really makes such a difference in practice. It truly does. It increases the PVA for sure. So a high PVA practice means less work by the doctor, and it means that you can get out of your practice on time. It also provides for stability in a business. And I think what we're going through right now is a perfect example of how a practice that has been built upon continual education of patients can sustain wild fluctuations in the market and in business because people get it and they want to come get adjusted and they see themselves doing that for a lifetime. So having a strong practice that way makes a huge difference. So PVA is the key to maintaining longevity in practice. And increased PVA increases income in the practice. Other PVA drivers are spinal workshops, we talked about that. TikTok, actually teaching them each time that they're in the practice about chiropractic. The care plans that we create higher PVA. And I touched upon the anniversary reports before, which is something that you'll learn about later.